Hey everybody, Jay here, and today I'll be talking about why I love Need for Speed Undercover. Need for Speed Undercover was considered one of the worst Need for Speed games developed by Black Box Studios. Funny thing is, Black Box actually made some of the best Need for Speed games, namely Need for Speed Underground 2, Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005, and Need for Speed Carbon. So these are the guys who actually know how to make really good Need for Speed games. And yet, Need for Speed Undercover is widely regarded as the worst entry in the series. It's actually a huge disappointment, especially coming from the company, or the development studio, that actually knew how to make the good Need for Speed games. Yet, despite all the negative criticisms that I'd been reading up online and stuff, when I installed it to give it a go, I found myself actually enjoying it. And quite frankly, I don't see where all the hate is coming from. First off, there's still the massive car variety. According to the Wikipedia, it has a total of 59 drivable and moddable cars, which include Pagani Zonda and Koenigseggs. I think that's safe to say that that was the first time that hypercars actually made their entry into Need for Speed, or at least the underground era of Need for Speed games. And the driving model was fine. One of the major criticisms people had with this game was its driving model. They said that the grip was inconsistent, the cars felt a bit too slippery, it wasn't Need for Speed. But in my opinion, the driving model is actually fine. It's not too bad. It has some elements of Most Wanted's straight line speed and grip, yet it's been given an action driving sort of twist, where handbrake turns are easy to pull off, and at times even better than regular braking or regular driving strategies. And sometimes the brakes are not even needed. Cars are grippy enough that it's unnecessary. You can easily take sharp turns without even having to tap the brake or even the handbrake. It's definitely a more accessible handling style compared to the, I would say, strategic style of the previous NFS games. If I were to describe it in one word, it would most likely be movie-like. Now, Need for Speed Undercover was also the first game that decided to implement an actual plot into their game. But at the end of the day, it didn't really do much. All it did was serve to show progression, and nothing more. In Need for Speed Underground 2, progression was shown by building reputation and signing contracts. In Most Wanted, the progression was the blacklist, and in Need for Speed Carbon, progression was taking over territory and going off against the bosses. That was progression that actually felt rewarding, because you had to put effort in, build up your status as a racer, and finally go off against the big guns. But in Need for Speed Undercover, it just doesn't feel that way. All the story does is just serve to show you, okay, go to this race, okay, you need to build up your rep a bit more, that's about it. But you don't really care about the story at the end. It's basically still going to be street racing and maybe some takedown-esque kind of thing, but otherwise you don't really need to care about the story, and they could have done a better job showing progression. Regardless, you don't really play Need for Speed for the story. You play it for the racing. And I will say, the racing in this game is actually pretty fun. It's not as tough as the older games. It's been made to be a lot more accessible for people. If anything, it's more of a power fantasy. Rather than putting you as an up-and-coming racer building himself up, it's more about showing that you are the elite racer in that world. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm guessing the people who didn't like it simply because they expected a Need for Speed level of challenge, but did not get that instead. I won't lie that its graphics aren't great either. Shadows pop in really badly, textures are bland, the world looks average, it's not screenshot material basically, and it has really bad traffic draw distance. I can visibly see cars pop into existence. It wasn't that noticeable in prior games, I don't know what went wrong here. One theory I have is that it might have been because of the structure of the world in the older games, where it was more twisting and turning, a lot more curves here and there, which managed to mask the vehicles popping in, whereas in Need for Speed Undercover, it was more wide open, straight roads that you can actually see pretty far off into. I wish they had been able to increase the vehicle draw distance a bit more. Honestly speaking though, the cars that you drive still look absolutely gorgeous. Every vehicle looks really good, especially if you compare them side by side to their real life counterparts. Obviously they don't hold up now, but it's pretty cool to see all the little details that would be there in the real life version of the car. And they still look great, especially after they've been modded as well, which is where I'm going to go to next. The Autosculpt system. Sadly, the last time it's ever seen in a Need for Speed game. For those who don't know, The Autosculpt system was introduced in Need for Speed Carbon. It offered a much more granular control of individual elements of, let's say, a bumper or a rim, and allowed you to fine-tune aspects of it so that it'd be just right, it'd be your specific style. It heavily increased the number of modifications you could do in a game, and honestly it was pretty fun seeing all the cool stuff that people could come up with. In Need for Speed Undercover, it's basically the last and best iteration of the system I've seen in any of the Need for Speed games. Every single aspect of the front bumper, the back bumper, the spoiler, the exhaust, the body kits, the wheels front and back, each of them can be adjusted individually. You can adjust the spokes on the rims, you can adjust the width of the tire walls, you can adjust how aggressive or passive your body kit looks. There's a lot of things you can do with the auto sculpt system, and I'm really sad to see that it's just come and gone. I want to see more of this auto sculpt system because honestly speaking, it really let you express yourself. Another one of the things that I really appreciate about Need for Speed Undercover is that no car is considered incompetent. In previous games, sure you could do fine with one particular car, but once you hit a certain point, it's essentially a brick wall and you can't go past unless you upgrade your car to something better. In Need for Speed Undercover, due to their lax AI and lax rubber banding and relatively low difficulty, you can pretty much trash Lamborghinis in your Dodge Charger or whatever. And honestly, that's pretty fun to watch because some of us have these fantasies of, oh, this car can definitely beat the other or something like that. And in this game, it allows you to do that. Granted, if you're going to beat them, you're still going to have some serious skill. It's cool to see that older cars are not discredited or considered not good enough to compete at higher levels. So would I recommend this game to you, dear viewer? Well, honestly speaking, it's pretty hard. To some people, the driving model is atrocious, and it's a digression from older games. If you're a massive fan of the older driving style, then this might not sit well with you. And there's also a lack of reason to explore the open world. You can pretty much just jump to any race. In fact, there's not even the checkpoints that you can drive up to engage the race. You literally hit tab and it jumps you to the next race. And also, of course, it has a really pointless story that tries to show that, oh, you're getting better at this and stuff, but doesn't really work. However, if you are willing to overlook those faults, like I did, you might find yourself with a pretty good time. There are beautiful cars that you can modify to whatever your heart's desire. There's some fun racing to be had. It's really great to chill, pull a handbrake turn, go around a corner, or do a slalom down a mountainside or whatever. It's a really relaxed and action movie experience. It'll make you feel good. And honestly, it's just a lot of fun. So if you're willing to pick it up, go ahead. It's pretty cheap now. It's an old game. You can get it off Steam, so you don't have to use Origin. And overall, it's not as bad as people say. Thanks for watching, guys. Please do leave feedback. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up as well. And if you don't just dislike it, tell me why. Tell me where I can improve. I'm always looking for ways to improve my videos content. Till the next time, this is Jay signing off.